Okay, do you guys remember what a midpoint was? Yes. No, that was definition between. And for that to work, it doesn't have to be in the middle. If M is the midpoint of AB, then what? Guess what we know? Yeah, but
A equal A and M and B and M are
just AM equals MBS. AM equals MB. That's the definition of midpoint. If M is the midpoint of segment AB, then AM, well, it's between A and B, and also AM equals MB. So if you say it back, you can also say definitions backwards. So if M is between A and B and AM equals MB, then M is the midpoint of segment AB. So that's what that was. Okay, but today we're adding on something called the midpoint theorem. Oops. I'm not going to prove it because it takes too long, but you guys probably would be able to guess. What's the relationship between AM and AB? Now, AM and AB.
half of AB is AM.
Right, AM is equal to half. If M is the midpoint of AB, then AM would equal half of AB. Does that make sense? AM is half of AB. These two are equal, so they would add up the whole thing, and each one would be half of the whole. Or you could say MB is half of AB. Either one. So the difference is the midpoint just says the two sides are equal. The midpoint theorem is that each side is half of the whole. You can prove it. It's a very short little proof, but I'm not going to do it. It takes too long to write all that stuff. Okay. A segment bisector. I think didn't we draw this with the compass the other, and then we got those compasses out? Or wait,
That was not us.
that wasn't here, never mind. That was the other club.
Compass.
Yeah, I had him draw all the stuff with the compass. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, a segment bisector is just a segment, or it could be a line or ray or segment or anything that goes through the midpoint basically. So segment bisector, line, segment, or ray that cuts the segment, another segment in half. Like these two are equal. This is the midpoint for this. You guys know what bisect means? Cut into two, by two.
Oh yeah.
Sect is cut. So like you might bisect a frog in science, biology. Anyway, that's a segment bisector. Sometimes they could be perfect perpendicular. They could just be lines. That line is a segment bisector for segment AB. Anyway, cuts in half. Angle bisector. I'm pretty sure did we talk about this one, or maybe that was in the class too. I had them draw it in the other class. So guess what an angle bisector does? Splits into two equal. So that angle and that angle would have. If this is an angle bisector, if AD bisects angle CAD, then these two angles are congruent. Angle CAB is congruent to angle BAD. Kind of like a midpoint, cuts into two equal. And there's an angle bisector theorem. So do you guys remember what I said the midpoint theorem was? If M is the midpoint, then AM is half of AB, the middle here is half of the whole. So guess what angle bisector theorem is? If AB, like ray AB, is a angle bisector, then what do we know?
CAB, BAD equal.
Now that's the definition of angle bisector. Angle CAB equals half of what would the angle CAB be half of?
CAD.
CAD.
Oh,
Yeah, it's kind of a duh statement when you think about it. But it's a theorem because you can prove it's true using the definition of angle bisectors and a little bit of algebra. You can prove it's true. All right, here we go. I kind of made this one big. It's page 100. Let's see, numbers 1 through 28. See if I come to, you guys will probably like this one, I'm guessing. Let's see. You can tell me I was wrong. That's smaller than Friday's assignment. Darn it, I forgot to record. Or no, I didn't.
Very currency.
I did. Actually, I did. I thought I forgot to record. Okay, number 1, find the length. FC. So F is at 4. We did this once. C is at -6. How far is it from 4 to -6?
10.
Yeah, if you're not sure, you can do 4 minus -6. But when you minus a minus, it becomes a plus. So it is 10. This is 4A, I guess. Or 1A. B, HG. H is at 10. G is at 6.
So 4.
So it's 4. 10 minus 6. C, segment BD. B is at -9. D is at -2.
7.
Right. If you did -9 minus -2, it'd be -7. But if you did -2 minus -9, it'd be +7. There are no negative lengths. Your answer should not be negative on those. If it is, just make it positive.
Yeah.
Number 3, find the coordinate of the midpoint of F, segment FH. How can we find the point right in the middle?
Find the distance, divided by 2.
Okay, so on FH, the distance is, we did that one, didn't we? No, we didn't. FH is from 4 to 10, so the distance is 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Is 3 the midpoint?
Yeah. Midpoint of FH?
Yeah.
No.
3 is not even on the segment.
It'd be 7.
Yeah, you'd have to count over 3. Another way of finding the midpoint is just averaging the endpoints. So if the endpoints are 4 and 10, you do 4 plus 10 divided by 2. That'll give you the point right in the middle. That's what averaging does. 14 divided by 2 is 7. Might take notes on that so when you guys come back to do the evens, you know what to do. Number 5, which point is the midpoint of segment CG? Well, that one's kind of easy because it goes from -6 to 6. So what's right in the middle of that? 0. Halfway between -6 and 6. Oh, but they said they didn't ask for the coordinate, they asked for the point itself. So what's the point at 0 called?
E.
They actually wanted E. Coordinate is a number that gives you location. point itself we label with letters. Number 7, true or false? If B is the midpoint of segment PQ and PQ is 24 long, then PB must be 12 long.
True.
Yeah, if B is in the middle, it's only gonna be half as long as the entire segment, right? So that is true. You might draw a picture if you get confused. That was basically the midpoint theorem. If B is in the middle, then PB is only going to be half as long as PQ. Number 9, if SX equals 1/2 SR. I'll draw a picture. SX, oh, I made that too long. If SX is 1/2 SR, well, this is kind of a trick question, I just realized. Then X is the midpoint of SR. True or false?
True.
Okay, here's the problem. Does XR or SR have to look like that?
What do you mean?
I mean, whoa. Yeah, it could be at an angle like this. So is X the midpoint in that case?
No.
No. So yeah, it's kind of a trick question, but
So it's
number 9 is false. Yeah, X has, we have to know for sure that X is on that line. It has to be between the two. Number 11, copy and construct. Nah, we'll skip that. That was the compass stuff I did with the other class, but not important enough, don't make the cut. Oh, but there's more, 13 and 14. I don't have enough compasses to do all that. Do you?
just go to 16.
We might have to come back to that. Yeah, let's go to 16.
So just cross it out.
Yeah. Okay, on 16 it says find AB if X is the midpoint of AB and AX has the given length. Okay, if you know what they're asking, it's pretty basic. So they're saying X is the midpoint of AB. So there's AB, X is in the middle. So if AX has the given length of 4, how long is AB? Segment AB?
That'd be 8.
8. 13. Given the coordinate, if you get confused on what they're asking, just
Wait,
draw
13.
13. Yeah, that's right. We jumped to 7. Oh, I accidentally did 16, didn't
So we're skipping 10 through 15.
we? Yeah. It's just, they are drawings they have to use a compass on. And like I said, I kind of did it with the other class, but. Okay, I'm on 19 now. Find a, nope, given the coordinate of M, yeah, I accidentally did 16. Given the coordinate of M, the midpoint of AB, okay, so they're saying M is the midpoint. And the length of MB, find the coordinates of A and B. So when they're saying coordinates, they're like talking about a number line. So if M, the midpoint is at 7, and MB, which would be the length from, right here to here, is 9. Find the coordinates of A and B. You guys see what they're saying? M, the midpoint is at 7, the coordinate 7. The length of MB is 9. So where would B, what would the coordinate of B be?
10. I don't know. Or it'd be 8. 18?
Okay, Talking about like a number line. M
Oh, so 11.
is at 7 on the number line. The length of MB is 9.
Oh, 16.
Right. So B would be 9 to the right of 7. So it would be 16.
Could've just
You're doing 18 or
But
19?
also, it's 19. I
said-
did.
18.
No, I did 18. I screwed up again. Alright, I'm stopping and doing 19. M is at -6. MB is 3 long. So where is B and where is A? Right, -6 plus 3 is -3. Where is A at? -9. So it's -6 minus 3 is -9. -9 and -3 are where A and B, the coordinates of A and B. Any questions on that? If it's hard, it's not supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be pretty straightforward. But if you don't draw a picture, you probably would get confused. You don't understand the terminology. More construction. I did not plan for that very well. Okay, 25. Yeah, no wonder.
Wait, why did you just go to 20?
20 through 24 is more drawings.
Do you want us to do them?
No. But since we are skipping those, I didn't look at those. I might be able to add a few more on.
No.
You're good, right?
30,
Alright.
you're studying hard. At 36, yeah, let's go to 30 to 36. I'll change it. 25. It says ray UW bisects angle TUV. Okay, if that is true, how could I figure out what X has to be? How could I set up for X here?
Just write it out.
Okay, let me read it again. 25 says ray UW, look at it in the picture, bisects angle TUV.
Yeah.
If that is true, what do I know?
TUW and VUW equal.
Right, those two little angles are equal to each other, right? So how can I,
TX
Set up a-
minus 5 equals 3x minus 22.
right, just set them equal to each other. 2x minus 5 equals 3x minus 22. Alright, what do I do when the x's are on both sides?
Subtract from one side.
Get rid of the x's on one side. In this case, you could minus 2x or minus 3x. Well, minus 2x. Two minus 5. It's just the a, isn't it? Okay, so x is 17. So on B, how do I find the measure of angle TUW?
Plug it in.
Huh? Plug x in. So yeah, 2 times 17 minus 5. 34 minus 5 is 29. Guess what they're asking for C?
Plug in.
Well, they're asking for the big angle, TUV. So how can we find TUV?
You plug it into both sides.
Mm. No, that's the hard way. It's the easier way.
Plug it in to what we already have.
Huh?
You know they're both 29.
They're both 29. So it's 29 times 2. Or 29 plus 29. On, let's see, 26. So, you guys see on 26 those little red arcs? It looks like one arc the way they drew it, but it's supposed to be two little arcs. And what they're telling us basically is that those two angles are equal. When they have the same number of arcs, like if one of them had two arcs, these would not be equal. But if they both have one arc drawn in them, they're the same, they're congruent. So basically, BD is bisecting, ray BD is bisecting angle ABC. So it's very similar to 25. The only difference is C is asking for that middle angle. What do we know about all three of those angles together? They have to add up to 180. So that's how you figure out C. All right, 27. Now, the reason I threw in these last few is I've seen this on an ACT question before, so I better look at it. Find the coordinates of R if the coordinate of the midpoint of RS is -1. All right, so I'll draw a picture, RS, and they said the midpoint is -1. The coordinate of S is 5. So how could I find what the coordinate of R is right there?
Do the math and know that it's -6.
You're a little bit off. No.
Well, you're going up 7, right? It's -8.
No, you split the difference. How far is it from -1 to 5?
7, 6.
6, right? So if you go 6 to the left of -1, -1 minus 6, yeah, it's -7.
Is that not what someone said?
No,
I thought Natalie said that.
she said 7.
I just,
So she might have been thinking right, but said it wrong, possible.
I didn't know what I was saying.
All right, does that make sense though?
Uh-huh.
So this is 6 long, so this has to be 6 long because it's in the middle. So you just go 6 backwards from -1. There is an algebra way to do it, but it'd probably just confuse you. -1 is should be the average of those two. So x plus 5 divided by 2 should equal -1. Solve that for x. Of course, the original way might confuse you too. 29. Find the coordinates of the endpoints of N. Okay, segment NN. The midpoint is 2. Wait, I'm reading the wrong one. No, find the coordinates of the midpoint. If the coordinate of the midpoint P is 2, and PM is 19. This is the same as the other one. I don't really get what their point is here. All right, anyways, how could I find the coordinate for N? PN is 19 long, 2 is in the middle.
So 21. Add
And how do I find the coordinate for M?
Subtract 19.
That's 2 minus 19.
-7.
So it's negative 17 and 21. Okay, since we skipped those drawings, let's do 36. I know you guys are hoping we do approve today. Okay, when I write approve, what did I always put at the top? Up here?
Oh, why do we have to put 36? Given. Oh,
The headings,
stationary,
statement.
statement, and reason.
Every statement has to have a reason. First line is always
Given.
the given.
Wait, are we doing 30 to 36? Or what are we doing?
We are jumping to 36. Angle POY. And what's the reason? Given. See if I can draw that picture so we can think about it. It looks like pretty close. X, Y, Z. P, O, U. All right. If OZ is bisecting POY, what do I know?
Hold on, I'm writing all this. So if OZ bisects what?
Okay,
Okay, so POZ.
hold on. Somebody besides Xander. If OZ is bisecting POY, what do we know?
PC and CY equals PC.
Say again.
Or PC and CY equals PY.
Okay, are you talking about angles? Okay, how do we label an angle? There you go. Yeah, she said this would be congruent to that, right? If this is cutting the angle in half, these two little angles, that means these two little ones are the same. So that's the next thing we're gonna say. Angle POZ is congruent to angle DOY. Wish I could hook these things together because it's kind of in my way right now.
And then
Mm.
the reason you're putting
What do you guys think the reason is? Something with midpoint, yeah. Well, it's not a midpoint actually. It's the midpoint is the middle of a segment, but what's the thing that cuts an angle in half? Okay, the reason we know that's true is because that's what an angle bisector is, right? So it's a definition of angle bisector. Screwed up my picture. You guys see that really well? Definition. The reason we knew that was true is because that's what an angle bisector does. All right. Actually, I probably what is this? All right, I'm gonna erase that so I can look at the picture. Don't erase yours. Good?
Yeah.
Okay. What we were trying to get to, what we're trying to prove, you guys peek at that, is angle QOX. That's this one over here. Let me change it to red. Is congruent to angle POZ. Right there. So we just said these two are congruent. What else do we know by looking at this picture? Okay, we're trying to.
Y is congruent as well.
QXY is not an angle.
Or Q and Y. Q, is that an O?
Yeah.
QOY. Absolutely.
No, we don't need any angle degrees. We don't know the measurements of the angle. Well. Okay, we just said these two are the same. What other angles do I know are the same in this picture?
QOP and QOs or POZ.
No, I do not.
Oh, QOXZOY.
Okay, right. These two are the same, right? How do I know these two are the same?
Because they're congruent.
Hmm? What's that called? It was our. I didn't label it on the bell work, but what's that called from the bell work? Starts with a V. Vertical angles. It's the vertical angle theorem, but usually we just write vertical angles. So, line 3, angle QOX is congruent to angle ZOY. Okay, it's the vertical angle theorem. I'm just going to put vertical angles. No, we're not done. What we were trying to say, although we were close, is QOX is the same as POZ. Why can't I say that? Okay. After the given, what we said was that is congruent to that. Then on the third line we said that is congruent to that.
You have to put the ZY in it too.
So why do I know that that is congruent to that? Do you guys follow?
Those two are
So,
If these two are congruent and these two are congruent, then why are these two congruent?
because it's like the transitive thing. Right?
Yes, it's called the transitive property. If A is congruent to B and B is congruent to C, then A and C are congruent. So the reason is transitive property. You can abbreviate the prop. Transitive property. Uh-oh.
The leather jacket guy is here, so if somebody's wanting a leather jacket.
Alright, does anybody want a leather jacket? Do they need to come like one at a time or all at once?
No, we've got a few, so you might wanna wait till after class or whatever, but there's a few in there, but he'd probably be here until he gets done, so. I'd come, class ends in, what, 10 minutes or something like
So this is just to put in order, yeah. This is put in
that? Or
order.
if you need changes made, like if you need another patch or something like that.
Alright. Okay, you guys can go talk to the letter jacket guy if you want to.
So what are we actually going to?
30.
Okay.
So, let's see.
It's like 1 through 9 and 17 to 30.
No, we skipped another part. We did 1 through 9.
Yep.
Wait, I changed my page.
16.
16 to 19, and then 25 to 30. basically, you guys just need to do all the evens. from the
Just
top.
turn the A's to the rest.
Yeah.
Even.
I got a 90. Oh, wait, I see it.
Yeah, you have a plus one. Yes. Call it.
Stuck in your head.
Yeah, there's way too much repetition in that song. It's always gets stuck in my head when I hear it. Which is like, I've heard it like 3 times.
So 96 minus 29. What is it?
You're almost done. We guess to romance.
Like,
Lies.
kind of.
Lies.
No, it's actually like,
Oh, it is.
no, it's kind of, like, it's hard to explain. Like, there is romance, but it's like not,
There's other stuff going on too.
yeah. I mean, there's
Yeah.
Two of these assignments everybody did well on, one of them kind of tore us up. Page 80 gave us trouble. Kind of bounce each other out though.
You're so silly.
It's not recording. Well, I think, unless I forgot. Actually,
It is.
it is.